Hello. Hello. Yeah, same here. Just super busy. Sorry, guys.
And we hit that and then some. We were able to create the white boxing and the initial levels that we wanted to for the very first galaxy that we have. And then from an art perspective, we were also able to finalize some parts of the main hub, and we finished creating some UI elements. And as we moved forward from there, we continued to create new UI elements and new assets. The programmers are running through a bunch of bugs since, and we've also created some new mechanics for the designers levels, and we've made some finalization processes to the tutorial. We're currently looking at a week 11 for our out-of-house testing session. So we pushed it back a week just to accommodate for GDC and people being out of town. And we tried to make sure we can make it work for everybody. So we did that, moved that all around. As we're moving forward, we are kind of experiencing a little bit of we've experienced moments of hiccups and misunderstandings, things that didn't quite go as planned, and yeah, just kind of stuff like that.
Sure.
We had the designers kind of working on documents that they weren't able to really get done due to the fact that the levels weren't really in a functional state to really have play testing be super meaningful. So we moved instead towards more whiteboxing and had the programmers work on the side while the designers were working on something else, so that neither of their works really conflicted. But yeah, we've just been kind of trying to get everything ready and into a polished state, which has been much more difficult than I initially anticipated. Getting that polished state is, oh my gosh, it is rough. It is a lot more work than I thought it initially would be, and we're trying to put as much focus as we can into it as we possibly can. I still think that we're going to be able to make our deadline for the out-of-house testing session. Just having an overview of all of the different, I guess, interdisciplinary teams and how they're running. In all honesty, I think it's going to be close, but I think it's going to be close due to the fact that we had the scope set a certain way and not anything else. So everyone's still working super well and doing well on all those fronts. For the pipeline stuff, I did talk to the programmers today about unit testing, and we went over everything and covered all of that. We went over the video that you provided, which was super helpful, helped them get a greater understanding of Unity's testing frameworks in general. And then we also have them set up in the current branch that we're working in. We have them set up that Unity test framework from that package manager. So we have that set up, and then they're going to continue to work when we're creating the designer's mechanics. That's where our big focus is going to be for that unit testing, is
Sure.
making sure those mechanics work and making sure that that's more functional. Because when we have all those little smaller things, we usually know if those work or they don't work pretty quickly. So, but the
Right.
mechanics, I definitely think that's going to help out just testing those mechanics. Because when we're going through and playing the entirety of the level just to, get to the end or get to a certain part, definitely can take a lot longer. So I think it'll make a big difference in just how we progress in general. And then on the design side, we had the document, the feature document updated and kind of reworked a little bit, organized. So that's gonna help moving forward. I don't know if the designers have looked over that quite yet, in full honesty, but it was updated and it was worked on. And then that one pager, it's almost done. Still being worked on. So it remains to be seen how that goes. But the design lead thinks that it'll be a really good asset for us to use to get everybody up to speed and get people interested in the project as well, and just help everybody work better in general and manage making levels that feel like they're from the same game. So yeah, I think it'll be a big help on that front. And then, yeah, I think in terms of implementing a lot of the suggestions from the art team, that's been a little bit more difficult since the art team that we've been just working with has been really focused on creating just assets and stuff. I do want to run through next time we meet the texture packing stuff specifically, because I think it'll be a really good asset for people to use and help us, not have such an overload of what is it, like, I guess overload the engine, because we are working with multiplayer, so we already are asking a little bit like quite a lot from just processing power in general from that standpoint. So
Yeah,
we'll
absolutely. I really hope the texture packing helps.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I really do hope so too, because it'll be huge. And then HDL or HLODs as well. I also think that'll be a huge help, especially as we're working with bigger levels where the player can't actually really see how, I guess at a distance, can't see these things that are really far away that still are in the level. I think that'll be a really big help, especially for some of our bigger levels, as well as for the main hub as well, when we have things that are out of sight, or we have loading zones within doors, things like that. I think that'll be a really big help on that front. I do also want to mention for the texture, the texture packing, because a lot of our artists, they're younger students, they haven't worked really with texturing in general, so they're a little bit newer, but we're going to go through, a lot of texturing stuff and teach them tiling textures too, so we can get some base textures going as well into the next week. So yeah.
Awesome. That's really great stuff. Thank you for that rundown on everything. That I was just trying to follow along and get notes, and I'm pretty sure I've kept up. That's great. I'm sorry for just kind of like letting you go on, but I'm like, no, this is all really good. Let me write it down.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I talk super fast. It's totally on.
No, okay. You're doing great. Thank you.
I'll talk a little bit slow. I'll try and talk a little bit slower anyways.
No, you're okay. I also want to ask, did you get a chance to do a co-op game in one of your play tests?
We actually did. The Lethal Company one that we were mentioning, that we did play. But for a co-op game in particular, I'll have to look at that for our next team building activity. We only have them like once a month. We don't have them super often. So we'll definitely have to look towards the co-op game. But yeah, we did play Lethal Company, and it was they were letting me have it a little bit because I got cornered, and they were doing the fun Lethal Company stuff. They were like with the sign over my head, and like I was shaking my head in the game, like, no, don't do it. It's just super ridiculous and fun. So yeah. They also unfortunately let me grab a jetpack, and I flew myself directly into a wall, frame one. So it was a lot of fun though. It was a good time.
That's good to hear. So that's great. Sounds like the stuff that you have done's been working pretty well, and the stuff that other ideas you got planned into putting into suggestion, even that's helpful. This project is kind of self-aware that there's not going to be a lot of time for us to measure. 2 weeks doesn't really give us a great idea of how it's going to fully affect the pipeline.
Yeah.
But yeah, all those details are great. This will all help me write my report. I hope it'll help you write your report too, Alexis.
Yeah, no, it will. I was also recording, so I'll post the video.
Awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Yeah. Side note, I made a little game jam game. If you guys want to check it out, I'll send a link.
Yo, absolutely.
I just finished it up. I submitted it. It's for the Historically Accurate Game Jam 10. So it's made a little historical skiing game.
Awesome. Oh my gosh.
Anyway, I think this is our last assignment together, so thank you so much. I know it's sad it's already over. It's too fast.
Oh my gosh. I know. Oh my gosh. I actually had a couple of questions for you guys, just
of course,
if you let me.
Yeah.
I actually, because we're going through just the processes of trying to get everything fully ready and done for that out-of-house testing session. The big things that we want for it is that we want a fully playable tutorial that you can start and finish, and that feels cohesive and fluid and it's a fun little level to play. And then we also want just essentially a singular room in the main hub that the players can run around in and get to not necessarily even access anything outside of a console or terminal, that the players can then use to select levels, just select the tutorial initially, and then just go through that gameplay loop, just have that be fully functional by the end of it. And a lot of the struggles that we're experiencing is mostly coming from, that polish, trying to just make sure everything looks nice and trying to bring everything together at the end, because getting, white boxing done and getting assets out, it feels easy when we're doing all of that kind of stuff, but truly putting it together into the engine and doing lighting and post-processing and working on quality control, all of that kind of stuff has been really rough, and a lot of the team isn't very experienced in that. They've had experience in other stuff, but when it comes to doing those kinds of processes, we're all a little bit out of our depth here. So I actually did want to ask, because you did the game jam stuff as well, how do you usually manage those processes, and how do you, I guess, manage either what does and doesn't make it into the build, or if there are any tips and tricks you have for, I guess, getting to that part and getting past that polish part right at the end?
Oof. Yeah. It's just focusing on the main features and kind of sort of like I mentioned in my suggestions, that innovation funnel framework, just like at every stage almost, you need to kind of consider, well, what's the key element, what makes it, and what can I, and what's kind of cool that I could get rid of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had to do a lot of that even with this ski game. Today I'm rushing to try to get moved in the next couple of days, and I added this little like ski trail to his skis, and it was like, it's kind of cool, but it's taking too much of my time and it's kind of slowing my game down. So I'm just gonna scrap it, and I ended up scrapping the whole thing and just submitting it today. So just kind of prioritizing what's the most important first, and sometimes being willing to trim things down goes a long way. It's hard to make that axe call, but even during testing you might trim some things, during implementation you might trim some things. So that's one way to manage scope. In a bigger sense, just kind of having everything the way you guys are doing it, where you're really on point with your scheduling and talking about what's working and not working each week. I think that those are all great ways to kind of reshape and refocus where you're going.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I guess did you make the game in, or I guess what engine did you make the game in?
So I used a game engine called Godot or Godot.
Oh, Godot, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I love Godot. I like Python. I did all the coding and sprite animations myself and the little sound effects. I was going to have a sound effects guy, but he wasn't getting his stuff together by today. So I was like, look, man, I just made some impromptu stuff. Sorry, jam. I don't have time for the rest of the jam. So whatever we're submitting is what we're submitting.
Oh my gosh.
But I got a couple really cool tracks for it. A couple composers worked with me, and then I was looking at their stuff. I'm like, wow, these guys do some like real game composing. So that's a nice thing about doing the jams, is getting like free work from some of these people.
Yeah.
But it's really, really nice, and so that's been a lot of fun. Here, let me send the link while I'm talking about it. Bam, you guys can check it out at your leisure. It just plays in the browser. It won't run on Mac, but I made a Mac downloadable version. If you have a Mac, that should work on it. Otherwise, it just plays in the browser.
Awesome.
Nice.
Exciting.
That is so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, and going forward too, I would love to stay in touch. If you need anything else for this project or for anything else, I'm happy to help. I mean, in any capacity, really, coding, art, advice, just shooting it and see how it's going,
That would be, honestly, that'd be so amazing. I always have particular questions and things like that. As we're just going through all of these processes, there's so much more to game development than I originally would have said I thought would be there like even a year ago. Just there's so much more that goes into it, just to make every little tiny detail shine, and just going through all the different processes and trying to figure all that kind of stuff out. If you've worked in Unity then yeah, a lot of that help would be very much appreciated and very, very much
Yeah,
needed.
yeah, just a bit, but I'm starting to do more. I'm actually helping out with another project right now, just working with some AI that's going to be in Unity. They need like goal-oriented
Nice.
action programming. They're making it's almost, it
Okay.
reminds me of like Maniac Mansion, kind of like a little murder mystery. But I got to come up with the AI for the guy who's supposed to be like a park ranger trying to murder the main character.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Yeah, so that's
That
going
is
to be a lot of
awesome.
fun to figure out. But once I get over that, I'll have a lot of experience working in Unity. So
Very nice. That is awesome. Well, I was looking over because I've been trying to and I know as a producer, I'm not supposed to be doing this stuff, but I'm trying to help out my art team as much as I possibly can because they're always getting a lot of work that's got to be done, and I really want to make sure that we're able to put as many assets into the game as we possibly can, so that we just have that level of polish, and we're able to get to that stage. So I've been working mostly with finishing up the character model and getting that to be fully functional so that we can set that up to the third person character controller that Unity has to essentially get to walk around in the main hub and, run around and do whatever you want to do essentially.
yeah.
But as I'm trying to set up the model and then the rig, as I'm working with the hands specifically, I've seen a lot of references when they're in T poses, even in A poses sometimes. But in T poses where they'll have the thumb kind of just still positioned down and they have the hand in a little bit of a position, despite the fact that you're trying to keep it as non-positional as possible. So if you've done any rigging with like hands or just character rigging in general, are there like general things you want to keep either separate or things you want to include in the base pose just that helps out with rigging and things like that?
I don't know a whole lot of details I can tell you offhand, but I do some 3D animating and modeling and stuff. I could definitely
Yeah.
take a stab at it, I'll send my portfolio too if you want to see any of my 3D stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. Ooh.
But yeah, no, I'm happy to help with, figuring out implementing stuff in the engine, game model stuff, programming stuff. I just love the whole dang pipeline. So I'm happy to help out any way I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you like using T poses or A poses a little bit more?
It's hard to say. Honestly, I tend to lean towards T posing, but I could go either way, honestly, or even not posed and just kind of figure it out.
I have done that once. That was never again.
Yeah, I usually go if it's not a T pose, it's like almost a T pose. It's like kind of like high A.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, this is awesome. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just
This
made that
is so
little
cool.
transformer for my father-in-law the other, couple weeks back. He works as a salesperson for like housing materials. One of the
Yeah.
companies, they do like power transformers. So I made a little power transformers that turn into a transformer.
That is so cool. I'm seeing it. Oh my gosh. Yo. That's
Yeah,
so fun.
his hands are not fancy. It just rotates, but still.
He's got it. He's got the heart. That is awesome. That's so cool. That's super cool. That's so awesome.
So yeah, like
Yeah.
I said, let me know if you need help at any point. I'm going to be a little busy these next couple of weeks because I'm getting moved into a new place and it's my
That's
birthday
very
on
fair.
Saturday and it's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that is
but
so
after this week, I'll have lots of time, and even between like just doing master's classes, I've noticed it's like a lot less of a course load and workload than when I was doing the bachelor level stuff. So I
Dang,
should have plenty of time. Yeah, I have like one class at a time, and I'm like, I'm not used to this. I'm used to like 13 hours of freaking class time a week,
Literally. I mean, still all work with classes, No.
Yeah, so I mean, I like that it's more advanced and more complex, but it's like I have way more time, so I'm trying to do a lot more with it, and network and work on these game jams and work on my coding and
Oh,
everything. So
man.
I would love to help out.
Oh, I think I would, in all honesty, I kind of want to ask, is mastering program, is it worth it?
Well, for me, it's more almost just like signaling my interest in game design specifically. Because
Yeah.
it's a master's in game production and management, which I never really saw myself like, do I want to be a producer or a manager in games? Well, I mean, yeah, I like directing games, I like producing, but like I like coding and I like making the game itself too. So
Yeah.
For me, getting the master's level degree is really just trying to be competitive in the industry and finding like really that first step into
course.
actual industry work as opposed to like my own company and little projects.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
yeah, so that's why, and just learning like this class, the pipeline class with Hugh has been like mind blowing in terms of learning about the business and learning about networking and actually getting to do like some talking about real game projects like your guys' real project. It's been really cool. So I think it's worth it. I just,
Yeah.
I could see, I've heard people who like got a bachelor's degree in game design and are like fuming because they can't find work right away. And it's like, well,
Well, yeah,
it's
the game design one. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, and
But-
to be fair, the tech industry, like I've worked in other software development, in legal enterprise software, in science application stuff, and web stuff. I mean, it's all
Yeah.
competitive,
No, for sure. Yeah. The game just industry in general right now is really tough to get into. It's really bad right now.
Yeah, a lot of big
Yeah.
layoffs, a lot of big companies not really looking out for their dev teams, and that can be
Mhm.
rough. I have been noticing a lot of people coming together though, which is good. Like on
Yeah.
LinkedIn, there's like a lot of little communities that popped up in the last year or two that are like,
Mhm.
hey, let's help each other get jobs. Let's talk each other up. Let's network. And I'm like, well, I wish this was available when I wanted to get into games 10 years ago, but I'm happy it's here now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm glad that people are getting together though, and the indie scene is seeing a little bit of a rise because that's always good, you know.
Yeah, trying to make a
Yeah.
little more of a splash there since the big game thing has been kind of a bust. I'm still always applying at like every game company I can and getting 1,000 rejection emails a week, but I'm
Oh
gonna
my
keep
God.
trying.
That's awesome though. It's still awesome that you're sending those though. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm going to GDC in a little bit, so hopefully
Oh, you're so
networking
lucky.
stuff.
I've been like trying to like rack my mind, like, can I go? And like absolutely can't this year. I'm stuck out in New Mexico for the time being.
Gosh.
So next year, I'm thinking definitely I'm gonna have to save up the couple thousand for the trip and just go because
For sure.
wow,
Yeah.
what an opportunity! What a cool event,
Yeah.
San Francisco's a great city. I actually lived there for about a month and a half back when I was like 19. It's a great city.
Nice. Yeah. I only traveled there a couple of times and kind of usually in passing, but I'm very excited for GDC. Very excited.
Mhm. Yeah. All righty. Well, I think that's all we need, unless you need anything else from us.
Yeah, I'm all good. I wanted to check in, Alexis, if you had other stuff. Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. It's just I was listening to your guys' vibe because like I don't really know about all the video game industry stuff, so I'm just listening in still. So it's nice to hear everything. But yeah, no, I don't have anything on my side. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
All
Awesome.
righty. Well, I'll talk to you guys soon. Stay in
Yeah.
touch.
We'll stay in
Bye.
touch.
Oh yeah,
See you
stay in
guys.
touch.
Bye.
Good luck with
We
everything.
will.
You guys
I
too.
will definitely
Bye.
send you guys any pitch decks or any trailers or anything like that. I'll send it over.
One last thing. As I was
Yeah.
actually talking to one of the guys, have you ever heard of Kerbal Space Program?
I have.
One of the developers on that was asking me if I would like keep him updated on our progress with Catalyst and stuff because I was talking to him and I was like, wow, I loved your game. Back when I was working at the science place, all the get lab geeks were telling me about it because I was talking about wanting to make like a space kind of like a vacuum chamber simulator where you'd like test out like blowing stuff up in a vacuum chamber because that's kind of how like in
Yeah.
real life that's how they test stuff for space.
Mhm.
So and that got to talking about the Kerbal Space Program. Anyway, I talked to one of the developers, and he's a really cool guy on LinkedIn. And he was like actually interested. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, yeah, I'd love to keep you updated. So if I do have anything, or I'll obviously before I share anything, I would check in with you.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that would be insane. Oh my gosh. That is awesome. That is genuinely so awesome. Well, yeah, absolutely. Like, go ahead, like, send all this stuff. Honestly, what was it? The people who produced Kerbal Space Program, and I don't know if this is the same. I don't know if it's the same type of people or if it's I guess the same place. But I know the people who produced published Kerbal Space Program are located, their base in Vegas. And I was looking at them for a publishing studio to possibly put out there for Catalyst because I know they got a couple people under their belt. And I just think also working from home because I'm personally from Vegas. So it was a nice thing. It was like a little thing from home. But oh my gosh, that's such a small world. That's insane.
Yeah, I thought so too, and that's why I wanted to let you know. The guy's name is Patrick Heaney. He's on my LinkedIn. He's a game designer, game engineer. He works in Unity and Unreal, and he's working on Kerbal Space Program 1 and 2.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah, if you could
So
send me his info, like I would.
yeah, I'll go ahead and link to his
Absolutely.
thing right now. There you
Yeah.
go, so you can check it out. I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, what? You know, I've never really had success with like networking and reaching out, and then this year it's just been like crazy. People are getting back to me, so
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I honestly, there's been so many people I've been meeting who've been saying the exact same thing too, where it's just, it's tough to do networking. Like it really is. Like it's
yeah.
just, yeah.
I try not to blame my circumstances, but being in Albuquerque is like the worst for networking anything.
Ooh. Oh my gosh. That,
I
I
just want to
know.
get out of this state, really.
Oh my gosh. Well, hope everything you said you were moving, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. I just got to get the funds together and figure it out. But I want to move to like a hub like Washington or California just to be where the jobs are at, you know?
Yeah, that is that is for real. But yeah, well, I hope you guys I hope we keep in touch and I hope to hear from you guys soon. That is super awesome though. Oh my gosh.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
glad
thank
you're
you guys
stoked for that
so
news. I was too.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Also, I do want to say thank you guys so much for your help. Like genuinely, thank you so much. Like you
Yeah,
guys have been such a
absolutely.
huge help throughout this process. Definitely keep me a little bit grounded as well because we're working with all this stuff on the project has been it's a whirlwind. Like it's just always moving so fast and all of this kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm really hoping that we can use a lot of the pipeline stuff because I looked over both of you guys' pipelines multiple times. Just reading all over it. So yeah, I really hope that the project continues to go well. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys' help on all of it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lauren. I will talk to you soon.
Yeah.
All right, talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.